So let's work with the GetX. Okay, so yeah, in this video you also going to learn about the MVC as well. So yeah, we had to work with the endpoints, right? So to work with the endpoints, as I told in earlier project video also, you should work with the model classes. Okay, so before integrating with the REST API endpoint, you should create a model class for that REST API endpoint. That's a best practice. Okay, that's why in the login feature, because we are working in a login feature, I'm going to create a new folder that will be a model folder, and in the model folder we're going to place the model class related code. Also, as I told, the business logic which we wanted to work, I want to put inside a controller. Okay, so we have to create a GetX controller. So let's create a folder that will be a controller, and in the controller file only we will going to put a business logic. Okay, so the first thing is the create a model class for our REST API endpoint. Okay, so yeah, the structure I know, the structure we have is like this, and let me copy the structure. And in one of the video I already told you that we have a website called QuickType, and with help of this website we can create a model class for our Dart language. Okay, and let me put the model class name as a login model. Okay, I had to copy the code, and let's go back on our project, and inside the model I'm going to create a new file, login model.dart, and let me just put the code created by the QuickType. So this is our model class. Okay, we have created a model class, and let me make it as a required. Yeah, and the second step will going to be a create a GetX controller. In order to work with the GetX state management, we have to separate the logic between the UI. So this is a UI and the business logic. Okay, so the business logic like tapping on a button. So after tapping on a button we have to make a API calls. Those kind of thing we will going to put inside the controller. Okay, so let me create a login controller, and in the login controller I'm going to use a GetX. So this is a login controller.dart file, and I'm going to create a class login controller, and it will going to inherit the properties of the GetX controller. Okay, so this is added over here. So instead of this, let me use the state manager package, and here now we have to put a business logic. Okay, so if you see over here, we need to have a text edit controller for this text form field. So instead of putting that text edit controller here, I'm going to put that text edit controller here itself. So I'm going to create a new variable, text edit controller. So just watch the video very carefully, and it will be a login edit controller. Let me initialize it. So please watch the video carefully because you will learn a lot. And the second thing will going to be a method which we wanted to hit after we will click on this button. So I'm going to use a login. I'm going to create a login method, and in the login method I'm going to call the post call. So now we have this login model, and also I already have created this post method for the network handler class. So let's use it. So we have to make a network call, and let me import the network handler from the respective path, and as this post method is static, so we can create, we can call this post method without initializing or without creating any object of this network handler class. And here we just have to pass two things. The first thing is the body, and the second thing is the endpoint. The endpoint will going to be a login, okay, which we created in our video. It will going to be /login. Okay, and why I use only login, because we already created a build URL method which will prefix the host and the port number. Okay, so now we have to pass the body, and to pass a body we have to use our model class which we just created. Okay, so I'm going to create a login model, type of data login model, and let me initialize this login model. Okay, so in the login model, if you see, we just have one parameter called mobile number. So we had to pass the mobile number, and how we will get the mobile number? Using this text edit controller which we created. Okay, so I will explain you everything later, so let me just use this text as of now. Okay, and now to pass a body, what we have to do, if you go inside the login model dot, we have two methods. Okay, the first method, it will going to convert the JSON string into the normal map type of object. So generally the Flutter know the map type of object. What does that mean, the map type of object? So map type of object is the like this, name, hello. So this is kind of map type of object. So Flutter will know only this kind of thing. It will not know the JSON string. So JSON string is kind of this, so it will be a string. So what happens generally when we work with the REST API endpoint, generally it sends the data in a JSON format. So front end or back end both will send the data in a JSON string format. So we have to send an object and convert that object into JSON string. Then we have to send it to a backend, or from the backend also when we get a data that will come in a string format. So in order to convert the JSON string into normal map type of object, we have this method. Okay, so it will convert the JSON string into normal map object. And in order to send the data from the front end to the back end, okay, we have to convert normal map type of object into the JSON string. So this method will going to convert a map type of object into the JSON string. Okay, so let me explain you second time. This method will going to convert the JSON string into the map type of object, and we will going to use this method at the time of get HTTP call. Okay, and in order to send the data from the front end to back end, we have to convert the map type of data into the JSON string. Okay, so this method will going to help us to convert the map type of data into the JSON string, and we will going to use it at the time of the post REST API call. Okay, so right now we are doing a post REST API call, so we have to go over here and we just have to use it, and we have to pass the model which we just created. So you will see that this is taking a login model type of data and using the JSON.encode, and with help of JSON.encode it is encoding the normal model type of data into the JSON string. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So as of now we are not doing so much thing. Okay, now we have a two thing in our controller. The first thing is the text edit controller, and the second thing is the login method, and now we have to use it. Okay, now we have to use it in our login bottom sheet. And how we will use it exactly? To use it, we have to create an instance of the controller. It will be a login controller, and with help of the get.put we will find the controller. So here we have to pass the controller which we just created. Okay, and we have to remove the constant, and here the controller we just created is the login controller. Okay, and now this login controller have the access of the two things which we just created in this login controller file. So we have to go on a text edit controller. So let me go on a text edit controller. Here we have the text edit controller. Okay, and I mean text form field, and here we have another property called controller, and we have to use the login controller to access the variable which we just created in the login controller file. So you can see that once we will initialize it, the login controller, now we have access of the variable which we created in our login controller. So that's it. We have separated the logic, the business logic from the UI component. Okay, and now when we click on a continue, we have to make a API call, right? So let's go on SP solid button, and we already added the on place method on a solid button. So here we have to use the login controller again, and the method we created, the login method, and we don't need to call it like this. We just have to pass the reference, and once we will click it, it will make a API call. Okay, so as of now, if you go on a network handler, what we are doing in a post method, we are doing nothing. We are just making an API call, and we are taking a response, and we are not doing anything. So let's print it and see that we are able to make an API call correctly or not. Okay, so response.body, I'm going to print, that is making a REST API call or not. So if it will make a REST API call, so what will happen, it will hit the endpoint login. Okay, it will hit the endpoint login. In the login, first it will print the body, and then it will going to return this JSON data, because we are not stored anything in a database, so the result will going to be a null. Okay, so we just get this message JSON data here in our front end side. So let's do, and let's click on a continue. Oh, it broke the app. Let me open the Myntra-Clone again. If you are doing something wrong, then I will run without debugging again. Let's see that why it broke. So we are passing the body correctly. Login controller are initialized correctly also. So if you're getting confused, I have initialized the text edit controller, and that controller is here only. That's why we are able to access the phone number directly. Okay, so yeah, okay, so let's try it again, that it is working or it will crash. So I will open this, click on a continue. Okay, so after clicking on a continue, you will find that this kind of message is printed, and this message which we are sending from the backend itself. Okay, so it means that REST API call is happening, and when we come here, then you will find that request.body is empty object. Okay, so let me go on a network handler. Let me go over here, and the one thing which we are missing over here is the header. We have to pass the header, and while making a post API call, we have to send the content type as application/JSON. Otherwise, backend will not understand what we are sending from the front end. Okay, so let me try it again. Let me click it here. Let's go on a backend side. That, yeah, now we are getting mobile number as a empty string. So if I will add a mobile number like 1 2 3 4 5 6, and if I will click continue again, so we will get this message all the time. And yeah, we got the mobile number as well, which means everything is working fine as of now. Okay, the thing which we wanted to implement, it is implemented. Okay, but not fully. Okay, so let me explain you. In order to work with the REST API endpoint, we have created a model class. Okay, and the structure of the model class we took from the data which we wanted to send to the backend. Okay, after creating a model class, we had to create a login controller, and in the login controller we put a business logic. So like the editing controller we put here only, and the login functionality which we wanted to add we have put over here. Okay, now in a login bottom sheet, what we did, that we initialized the controller. Okay, so anything we will type, that we can access using the controller which we initialize on a login controller. Okay, and in a button we are calling the login method. So in a SP icon button we are calling the login method which we created on a login controller. Okay, so all the business logic are inside the Gatex controller only. Now we are able to make the REST API call. What will be the next point? The next point will going to be at the time of registering a user, we have to navigate into the new screen. Okay, so let's go on a network handler, and here we are not doing anything as of now. So what I will do, instead of returning a static void, let's return a future string. So JSON is a kind of a string, right? And here let me return a response.body. Okay, so response.body is a JSON string. You can see that. Okay, it's a JSON string, and now we are returning a response.body from here. If I will hit the Control S and go on a login controller, I will just close it. And in order to work correctly, we have to make it as a sync and await, because we are returning a promise from the post method. So here I will add a var response, okay, and it will be a await method. Okay, so here we have to handle the navigation part as well. Okay, so what we can do, let's create a new file for submitting the form type of data, which I already showed you. Okay, we have to create a new file where we have to write the logic of the showing a form, and we have to navigate if a user is not registered earlier. Okay, so let's create a new file where I can put it. I'm just thinking, let's create a new folder called register. Oh, new folder inside here only, register, and in the register folder I'm going to create a new file, register.dart. It will going to be a stateless widget. All the thing we are handling using the Gatex controller. So stateless widget register. Okay, we had to import the material.dart package in order to work with the stateless widget. Okay, and let's use a scaffold as of now, and it will be empty scaffold as of now. Okay, and let's go on a login controller and let's write some logic, okay, over here. So if from the response we will get a data, okay, what we are sending a message equal to register. Okay, so and what we are sending at the time of, okay, so if I will print the response over here, so we have to write a logic over here. Okay, so response, we have to print a response, and once I will hit the response, I will get a message. Let me check in a network handler. I removed it. Yeah. Okay, so what we have to do, so let's access the response using normal string type only. Okay, so it's not so in order to convert data into normal map object, we have to use the json.decode. so let's use the var data, or we can say the, yeah, let me create a variable data. I'm going to use the json.decode JSON. It will import the dot convert package dot decode, and let me pass the response which we are getting. Okay, and let's print this data message. So for this thing I haven't created the model class, and we can create a model class for this thing also, but let's see that everything is working fine or not. If I will click, then we are getting a message register. Okay, I wanted to do something over here, that if data message is register, then I wanted to navigate get dot to and pass the register method. And why it is giving this kind of thing, we have to use the navigation. Yeah, we have to use the GetX navigation because these two method will come in the navigation GetX package only. So this is a navigation GetX, and in order to navigate, okay, so let me click on a continue and let's see. Yeah, we are able to navigate into the new screen. Okay, as of now it's a blank screen and we don't have anything, and how we will go back, we have to implement those kind of thing. Yeah, but yeah, if data.message is registered, then we can navigate into the register screen, and I showed you already that how it will look like the register screen. Okay, so we have to work on a register screen right now, I mean in the next video, in order to complete this login functionality. But you know, and you have some idea that how GetX thing is working, so let's do this thing in a next video. Till that, happy coding, see you on the next video.